what they want. But again, if this is an Aurora, yet again by Navi, I highly suggest show your front lines already. If it's not going to be a Edith, it's just one of those two. And then you pick your mid laner as well. I think they can save the gold and the jungle for later. Save your cores for last.
I think this puts Cambodia in kind of a situation though. Right? Who are they going to prioritize first? Do you think that the Aurora was more imperative to their gameplay, or do you think that the Tigreal is? Because remember, the Alpha is now open.
Yeah, I think I will stand tall on that hill that it was a good road to pair with him. And in consideration, that might just be it. If I'm Egypt right now, if you have it in you, you can still not give a Sicilian, but I would highly suggest a Valentina and a Tigreal. If you put your Datakaja and the EXP for Moshi's late follow-ups here again.
Do you want a Tigreal Sicilian?
Yeah, I also suggest that Sicilian would be good too.
Shout out to our social media community. The Kupre is, I think, very endangered.
Oh no.
So we got some Kamai fans tuned in.
Alright. Thanks y'all. Thanks everyone for letting us know.
I don't want to see Kupre.
It was majestic.
There goes the Alpha. So Team Egypt still want to be on the initiative here. And the early 1-1. They don't care about the Tigreal.
You know what? Okay, you still get the Alpha anyway. That will allow Cambodia to get a better rover for themselves. I think that might be one of the things here from Egypt now. I think this is them foreseeing a Tigreal pick. But now, if Cambodia actually want to go for it again, they're thinking, should we? It's a 1-1. If you don't get her, she'll just use her second skill, cleanse it, and then suddenly she might be able to put marks on the Tigreal and then just counter it.
It's much harder to catch now.
Yeah.
And I think they needed to go Alpha here in the first phase because I don't think, honestly, Sunlight has more options than this. So would it go for the Moskov? Not going to be prioritizing Tigreal.
Yeah, reverting to map control, reverting to being proactive when it comes to macro plays. So I like this against Cambodia. Again, ready to punish Egypt's tunnel vision when it comes to controlling the mid, controlling the team fight, and forgetting all else.
These teams don't really like Luo Yi, huh?
Yeah, maybe it's not in their, maybe it's not their style, or maybe they're both saving it for the last.
Ooh, safe strats.
Egypt can still bring it out, but this might as well be their last game. Both of these teams, one of them is going home after the base breaks here.
So is that going to be the turnaround? Like the pick the Luo Yi, save the world type of deal?
Yeah. Well, for Egypt, like that's the only narrative left.
I like the high loss bat by Cambodia. It would have meshed very well for that.
Yeah, but just the same, this means Cambodia's telegraphing the Nolan. You ban it or we pick it?
Yeah. Ooh, respect. Takami Tizi. Immediately taking the Lancelot away.
Signature. The only Lancelot in all of WEC.
Yeah.
Debut.
That's her.
Even on the men's scene. I don't think we have recorded the Lancelot on the men's.
Exactly. So that's all her. So Takami. Oh, there you go. Sicilian. No, man. No Ducci.
Valentina still Egypt. Valentina. It's gonna be good. You would like that. You have Edith, you have the Aurora.
How would you have rather that been in the Valentina, man?
I would have preferred.
Yeah, because at least there's a clear interaction. It's not just power pick for the sake of.
They might also have been thinking about the safety of the Moskov, that with the bat faced up.
Or the safety of Tagami.
Or the safety of Tagami as well.
Whichever Yoshi ends up picking. Ooh!
It was a Tig.
The respect for the CC Queen.
Yeah, they decided to go for the Moskov prowess, and that might come back to bite them. Unless the Edith is already through.
Which is one of her signature picks for, 6 months going now, so.
Yeah.
I agree. There's still room for flex though.
You would
it's still
drop,
possible too.
You would drop Team Philippines with a Rome Edith.
So what does Moshi play now?
Okay. If ever.
Phobius into the Alpha. Phobius into 1-1, that's a win. It's evened out.
Yeah, I guess evened out. But I would like to see a more solid presence with more crowd control in mind to pair with this Edith. There we go. Solid presence, crowd control in mind. I think it's Rizla.
You can actually overload the cleanse on the 1-1 now.
So I mean, I will repeat what I said again. This is the perfect time for a Valentina. We'll round everything up. I won't knock her for just deciding to go for Vixana or something. That's still very okay. You get good solid crowd control and burst. But there's something about the utility of the Valentina being able to take away either the Frigate Glacier or the even Mac the Edith blow for Rome, because that's a Rome Edith already.
For sure.
We know, we've always said if it's Rome Edith and if it's available for you, if it looks good, you pick mid Valentina, there we go.
There it is.
Okay. I wonder, did they go Kali?
Valentinucci and the CC.
Okay.
So you're forcing a very specific kind of jungler from Tagami to answer this CC. Because damage profiles right now in Cambodia, Velgus is going to run through them.
Oh, they can run it back. That kind of lineup struggle against the YS, no. I thought they would consider it. No, just go for the lane. Okay.
Well, to be fair,
objective-centric. They need to get the neutral objectives, but for Cambodia, it can be trades. It can also just be pickoffs around the map with Tagami's crazy Finch Poise maneuvers. So ladies and gentlemen, let's get it down to the land of Dawn here for the final game of the lower bracket finals. Who will make it to the grand finals? Will it be Cambodia or will it be Egypt? Both 1-1. This best of 3 announced effectively a best of 1.
It's come down to one game between the two teams here, and like our panel mentioned, you know, there's so many things that can go right for both these compositions, and at the same time, so many things that can go wrong. Anucci's going to have to make the work she's going to have the work cut out for her on what ultimates she's deciding to take, how they approach this, and just having a Ling across from you. I know there's no Angela this time around, but it's still nonetheless so threatening on how fast and how much damage a Ling can do, especially if we see a lead start to build up for Cambodia.
It's all about the leads here, and Tagami, so far in the early game, is actually doing a good job on the Finch Poise, like I said, right? The Finch Poise here is what really makes Ling a threat in the early game all the way to the late game. The macro control, the mobility that you can utilize to actually steal a few camps. For Alpha, you have fast clear. Oh, they actually give that to Yui Fendi, so also helping out the Moskov.
It's an interesting thing to note, too. Hold on. Unbreakable. Going to be used. Yui's fine. The interesting thing here is, out of all the games we've been watching so far through ISF WEC24, this is one of the ones where there's no Revitalize, man.
Yes.
I mean, there's 2 Vengeances here for Egypt, and rightfully so, but this is going to make it interesting, too, when the team fights break out, because we're so used to seeing extended fights because of sometimes even double Revitalize for some lineups, but this time there's going to be none here, so it really comes down to, like you mentioned, the execution for both teams.
All right. Already setting Navi down below to get this prio in the lane to get level 4 for both of them. Will it be in time? Yes, it will. Sunlight still on the turtle. Free turtle, though. It's on time, but it's a bit too late. Yue was not in position, unfortunately, to actually go and walk up. So it's all about getting Tagami to her power spike at this point, right?
Yep.
You can have the neutral objectives. You have your win conditions. We have ours.
I think playing into that, too, you know, power spikes is going to be crucial for both of these rosters, both these compositions. And even so, part of the gold lane matchup that we see often is this Moskov, the 1-1, and how they change the course of, you know, when they go from laning phase to these team fights eventually. You know how much damage names can do with a 1-1, and how some of the defensive items like the Winner's Crown come into play later on. Yui Fendi, you know, she had pretty much a phenomenal game the previous in game 2. She's looking to do the same thing. This might be bad for Sunlight. Tempest Blade's already going to be popped. Tries to get away. Won't be able to, though. They pop the Vengeance, but it's just too much damage. Just moving all over the map here. Tagami unleashing. And that's 3 big kills for Cambodia.
We got the Lancelot in game 2, and the Ling is, well, looks to be even better here, Naisu.
She jumped on every wall.
Popped in the Tempest of Blades, got all the 3 blades instantly, and in the 4th blade, delayed it a bit because Egypt were already using the resources, panicking in that situation. It's just so well played from Cambodia. Micro, and also just the composure of Tagami. Playing with your life at stake.
On the
tournament, line at this point. And it's against an Alpha. This is not the matchup you would expect for a Ling to actually win out in the early game with. You'd expect the Berserker's Fury, the Haas Claws to be picked up, then maybe we would see a swing from Tagami, but now Sunlight goes in.
Unbreakable, it's Yui again. Frigid Glacier going to be able to find 2. Tagami joining the fight, jumps on into the bush. We'll be able to clean up Vivin, looking for more. The Primal Wrath from Nucci, trying to help down, but she can't do anything but watch 2 teammates fall in the mid lane.
2 members picked up. It's 5-0 currently in the 4th minute of the game. And Cambodia, they are steamrolling through the early game composition. They are steamrolling through the composition that should have a snowball. Tagami with the purple buff now on the turtle.
Nucci gonna try to stall her out. She is low, jumps on in, might be in trouble. There's the jump from Vivin, able to find the right mark. Tagami out of the picture. Now Nabi on the run too. Egypt fighting back. And that might have been enough to secure the objective. So at least Egypt really trying to keep in this game without it getting too out of control. They're looking only at a 1,000 deficit now against Cambodia.
Great read from Egypt there. They noticed again, right? The fact that Cambodia, they've been able to get these fights, but they're still within their early power spike. They're still within the window where they can actually utilize to win out the neutral objective battles. They capitalize on the fact that Tagami had already used the Tempest of Blades earlier, and she was already at very low HP. They went in still and committed onto that neutral objective, and it became just a really good decision to take there. Now, 1,000 gold lead down. It was 2,000 earlier with a 5-0 kill lead. If we take a look at the items, the Berserker's Fury is already done for Tagami. She's waiting now on the Haas Claws, and in the bottom lane, doesn't look like, you know, there's a massive advantage for both Yui Fendi and Name so far, just really farming it out, waiting for their own power spikes. But when it's an even matchup, in the gold lane, 1-1 will always get to the power spike first, because you technically only need 2 items to be online. You need the DHS and then the corrosion side, that's it. But for the Moskov, she is leading by 400 gold. It's not really that crazy. She has to wait for 3 items that are ganking up top.
Play up top. They actually went in with AOG. They'll get Yui Fendi. And as you were just talking about it, you know, they make a play, a decisive one for Egypt. Names should still be careful here. There's still a couple members from Cambodia, but that's a good pickup earlier on. And, you know, like you mentioned, it's important because you have that gold lane matchup. You know that if you fall behind a little bit like Egypt did, although they have equalized the gold, they need that time. They need that objective secured for their gold laner. They need to be able to get the items they need and win some of those fights later on. But right now, the fact that Egypt has both turtle tests here, we jump back into the game once again. Last final game for this lower final. The team that win this will move forward to the grand final, get another chance at going against Indonesia. Tagami gonna be able to spot out names. They're gonna go for it. 1v1. Pops the crossbow of Tang. Attempts the blades to stay alive. She's able to get away. Navi will jump in with a flicker, looking for names, and names still gonna be surviving it until the last second, gets burned down. I believe that was the glowing wand. What was that? The glowing wand that picked up the kill.
The glowing wand to tick down. It'll be traded with a turtle, but it's a turret and a kill onto Name. Someone that they have to rely on in the mid game to be the one to actually create a snowball going. And for Cambodia, I have to remind you guys back at home, it's great the fact that they actually are still equal with a composition that needs mid to late. Tagami also clearing up the wave up top, so really denying Velvet from taking this turret to actually go and trade it out for what Cambodia got. It's still definitely in favor of Cambodia right now, the game as it stands. Yui Fendi doing a good job at farming too. Names has gotten DHS though, so that's the power spike for the 1-1. We'll see if she is able to utilize this power spike well in these skirmishes earlier. You can already see that damage, Daisu, onto Tagami. The 1v1 pressure, almost able to fully take the 1v1 against Tagami, but unfortunately she didn't have the Inspire. I think things would be a lot different if she does have the Inspire. And currently, it's up. Going for a trade in the bottom lane for a turret.
Looks like there's some pressure up here. You know, part of that too is, like I said, the timing with the Temps Blades, and then, oh, hold on, crossbow Tang too. Velvet's gonna be fine. She has her vengeance. Popped it already, Nucci. Half health already, holding on to the Primal Wrath, and Yui still unleashing. They might be baiting a fight, gonna be able to dodge that Spear Destruction. Now Conceal gonna be used. They're gonna force them off the turret. Yui Fendi's gonna jump in. She does get the Primal Wrath out of Nucci. Though that's fine. A little bit of work to get that tier 1. They finally get it.
Really good rotation from Cambodia. Setting Moshi down below too. This is the advantage that you have technically, right? Or something that you can actually utilize in your composition if you have a Terizla. You're really good at the weak side. CC, not so much. You're okay, I would say, in the weak side. You do really good at team fights, especially when it comes to damage. But in the lanes where you're up against 2, 3 members, it's really tough to hold out on your own because you don't really have the best of wave clear. For Terizla, 3 swings of the hammer, wave's gone. So they're able to effectively deny the trades away from Egypt, and they can get good trades all around. It's a 1,000 gold lead now for Cambodia. I'm taking a look at the items once again, and it does look like Tagami, with all the farm that she's been getting, with all the purple buff that hasn't really been pressured at all by Egypt, it's looking really good for Tagami's power spike, the timing, and also for Yui Fendi. They both should be able to reach it like, what, 10 minutes, 11 minutes, and that should be already really, really good timers for this composition.
Should be able to. Lord now half health, gonna force the fight. Penalty zone already used from Moshi. Yui's gonna jump in. They dodge the Frigid Glacier, but they can't dodge that. Passive already popped. Velvet's out of the picture. The fight's breaking out. Nucci falls. Velvet's gone. They're gonna collapse down. Still looking for more. Tagami at the front of it all. Will be able to pick up Sunlight. Both junglers down, but Yui Fendi unleashing. Picks up another. Looking for more, and it's a wipeout as Cambodia dismantles Egypt.
That's the power spike we were talking about in the mid-game. Egypt, the window is slowly but surely closing out on them. The early advantage that they had wasn't utilized. Cambodia were able to just neutralize it completely, and now they've taken control of the game. You can see the items earlier. Melfic, gun already for the 1-1. The damage leaderboard says a whole lot. But then you have to take into account the fact that Cambodia just have so many frontliners. So the damage that Names has been doing mostly has just been onto the Terizla, onto the Edith. It hasn't been onto the prio targets. Tagami has been free a lot of these team fights.
Yeah.
Fendi, especially considering Nabi was the one. Also, utilizing the passive, utilizing the second HP bar that she has to constantly just bait out damage from Egypt. And now, bait out damage from Egypt. And now, it's a 2,000 gold lead for Cambodia, 11-5. They have so much tempo on the map that they can utilize. And for Egypt, this one-dimensional teamfight composition is starting to be very hard to execute. Tagami and Fendi will always be able to control the side waves. And if you do try to match that, Turtle or Lord now in the 10th minute of the game will just be full prior for Cambodia.
They just go for it. Cambodia will be able to secure it. Velvet gonna jump in with the vengeance, forcing the fight again. They jump on in. AOG, but they get frozen down. Spear Destruction's gonna land, joining the fight. Fendi on the backside, pops the Tempest of Blades. Nucci won't be able to escape again as Cambodia finds 4 kills plus the Lord. A massive swing once again in their favor.
Is it safe to say, Naisu? Is it safe to say the window is officially closed now for Egypt? It's so tough for them to come back against this composition. So many angles of attack. They needed to play it front to back. It has to be clean for their composition, for the 1-1 to fly, for them to actually get rid of the front lines. But the fact that Fendi can shoot an SOD, teleport behind them. There's Tagami that obviously can do the same thing with the Finch Poise. Egypt can never get a full, proper front to back. They're always in a chaotic duel. Something that the Moskov and Link can take advantage of completely. And now with the Lord in the bottom lane with a 5,000 gold lead. And with the timers at the perfect time for Cambodia to really take control. I don't know, even when I look at their wave clear, it's not really the best composition to go for wave clear, right? The Wan, the Valentina, this composition was built to fight, and now let's see how they do in the defense.
Gonna have to do it. Tagami waiting on the whims. Velvet will also be that front side. They're gonna clear out the Lord. Still looks like they might hold on. A penalty zone jumps in. AOG as well. The Frigid Glacier gonna be dropped down. 2 back-to-back. 1 HP on that turret left alive in Cambodia. That might be all they get for now. Egypt still in the game. They're gonna clear the waves. They still have to clear one more. Trying to hold on to that turret. That minion won't get that last hit. So that's a good defense coming out from Egypt despite being down 4,000 or 5,000 gold at this point.
Egypt are able to defend with the first Lord there. With the Holy Defense, the fact that they got the Lord, or got the base rate so low down below is already really impressive, to be fair.
Yeah.
Cambodia has been able to really utilize that Lord to get these massive advantages, and you can see the Lord benefit has given them now up to a 4,000 gold lead. And this is what we're going to continue to just see all around. Tagami, bottom lane, Fendi on the other side of the map, this time actually going for the Melfic Roar. Not the Melfic gun for the Moskov. There was also Nucci earlier who picked up the Wishing Lantern. Anything that could really just give them a bit more damage in these fights, I think will be really, really good. But for Cambodia, the real power spike for them to stop the 1-1 would be Wind of Nature, Winter Crown. Once they get those, the 1-1 will fall off completely. This is the problem with the 1-1, I think, in the meta right now, with the Winter Crown being an item that everybody can get.
Everybody, yeah.
Usually it was the Winter Truncheon that only mages could get. You can get it too, but it just doesn't give you that much value, right? Just the suppression. But now everybody can get it, and in the late game, 1-1 that used to be an ultra late game pick, amazing in the late game because of the mobility and the crossbow attack. It's really tough to actually get executions now. And if you want to really just, milk it even further, they have so many HP bars that they can get. Yue pops in the Primal Rat. That's another HP bar with a lot of sustain as she continues to dish out damage. So, for Cambodia, it's all about playing it slow now. It's all about utilizing their advantages. They don't need to go for the 50-50 gambles. It's very, very unnecessary. They can just wait, push out side lane, slow push it, and then wait for Egypt to make a mistake.
Interesting with that, Nucci. I was wondering, what ultimate is going to be the best for this scenario? All the team fights we've seen so far from Egypt, like you mentioned, it's already really difficult to fight front to back against Cambodia's lineup. This time around, Nucci will hold on to that penalty zone. It'll be Egypt that starts up the Lord. They hold it at half health. Right now, Cambodia, they are waiting on the whims. Moshi could start the fight if she wants to. Yue could do it too. Even Nabi. They're going to go in once again. Moshi has to flicker out defensively. They still have Fendi up on the top. Moshi quite low, but still has that passive she can rely on. That body of Smith. A good push up top, though. Still trying to control this Lord for now. They send Nucci to clear out the wave so that push can't happen. Immortality also there. They're going to go for it. SOD's going to land. Tagami jumps in for names. They're going to be hunting her down. Tempest of Blades already going to be used, and Mashi out of the picture. Lord goes in for the reset, and Yui Fendi could be in trouble. She gets the space to move, knocks Velvet back with the Spear of Misery. They dodge it a little bit further. Now Velvet gone. They're on the defense, and look at this. Names trying to turn it around as she finds Tagami. A big pickup for Egypt.
Against all odds, Cambodia, they had the pressure in the side lane, they had their advantages, they had to just wait in, but they got impatient. Egypt, on the other hand, were patient, were composed, and now they have the winner crowns. Naisu, you can see the greed there from Cambodia, the itemization. None of them had winter crowns during that team fight. None of them could shut names down. Only now do we see the winner nature, the winner crowns being built up, and at this point, with the Lord taken for Egypt, I don't know, is it too late? Is it too far away? When they had the lead, they didn't want to go for it. And now, Egypt, let's think about it. We were talking about defense-wise, they wouldn't be good. This is a team fighting composition, and that's why we saw so much damage placed onto the base turret. But now, the fact that they got the Lord sieging will be pretty good for them. They have a lot of ults, great ults to steal. They just have to try to usher the Lord in the bottom lane, and unfortunately, they won't be able to.
That Lord's going to be worked on really quickly, but the play right now for Egypt is to get whatever turrets they can at this point. They focus on the tier 2 top, they get that. Maybe next tier in the mid, but they might still have to work for this. They might still have to be very calculated. Tagami taking quite a bit of damage, just trying to maintain this turret mid lane. They don't want to lose too much space. They know that they made a mistake in the last team fight. They went for the right targets, but they just couldn't capitalize on the kills. And so with that, Egypt, looks like that might be all they get. Still trying to focus here if they can actually catch someone out from Cambodia. But right now, still playing into the fact that, you know, this was the first time where I feel like Egypt had some breathing room to make a move on the map.
And now it's just a slow game again, waiting for the neutral objectives. 80 seconds for the Evolved Lord to spawn in the game. 17 minutes and 30 seconds. They'll try to siege down this mid lane with Sunlight and Names. The minions have been cleared out, and Velvet started to deal a whole lot of damage. Good peel from Fevin.
Fevin jumps in, using that AOG. Or should be a backup. Again, you're still a minute away from this Lord, so mainly it's Egypt kind of playing around the fact that, you know, if they can get a tier 2 turret, that's great. They already got the top one and bottom. This is where we start to see it. A little more range. You know, this item right here might be good enough for Yui Fendi in the next team fight. They're going to force it already. Vengeance going to be popped. Looking for it. Spear Destruction going to land. Frigid Glacier right on the mark. Finds a couple targets. Tempest of Blades to follow on through. Another body might be dropping here. Names joins the fight. She's still got the immortality. Looking for the airtime. Pops the Wind of Nature and the crossbow of Tang. But it's not enough. As Mashi finally goes down and Yui Fendi just unleashing. They get a wipeout. It's a triple for Yui Fendi and Cambodia. With a decisive team fight, they took it all, and now they march down the mid lane. The timers are too long for Egypt, and Cambodia will rally together and walk into the base, clear out the minions, dropping everything down, and despite the obstacles they face, they'll head on to the grand finals to face Indonesia.
Leave it to Cambodia to be one game down, to come back again against all odds. You can see the celebration on stage for the ladies here. Cambodia, what a phenomenal performance. An amazing performance from them to execute a game plan like that on the Ling, on the Moscow, against a composition that should have won the early game, against a composition that should have gotten the advantages. It was all on Cambodia to out-execute Egypt, and that they did. GG's well played to Egypt, though. The improvement that we've seen from this region, from Egypt, has been phenomenal too. They've improved so much in such a short period of time. And honestly, for us, I think we could say definitely we're looking forward to the future of Egypt.
100%, man. You know, we've seen so many games from these ladies from Egypt and just how much they've improved just in a short span of time even. I mean, we just watched them earlier this year, and now they come here, they compete, and they got so close. Really